my coffee. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm CTM1Ekin, and today we're going to be talking about classroom setup. A bit about myself. I've been in the Navy for 14 years, and I've spent 2 of those years either as a student or an instructor. In my time, I've been in all sorts of different classrooms, and I've seen some amazingly set up ones and some very terrible ones. One of my favorite was it's actually a bit similar to this one, where we had a instructor station. It was a bit taller, and I was able to sit in the desk right in front of it where I was unable to see anything. And it was an excellent spot to take naps. This would be an example of a very poorly set up classroom that a student is in a position where they're unable to effectively learn and utilize the resources in there. By a show of hands, who here has been in various different classroom setups? Excellent. We are going to be learning about all the different types of classroom setups that there are and how they can be effectively used for different types of learning. Are there any questions before I go on to the enabling objectives? Outstanding. So, today we are going to be examining classroom setups to maximize learning. So we're going to be looking at the different styles of classroom setups that there are and how they are best used for the different types of learning that we can do. We're going to state the types of classroom setups to maximize learning. Again, we're going to be talking about the different styles and communication types that are available for classroom learning. As we are all going to become instructors, it's going to be critical for us to learn how to utilize the different styles of classrooms and communication to effectively teach what we are going to be teaching. We're all going to instructor stations of one sort or another based on the fact that we're in this class. So this is critical information that will be invaluable to you moving forward. As always, please take notes. This is important information and valuable. It is not testable. And the class norms are in the back. As always, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but safety is kind of a big deal around here. So in the event of an emergency that would require evacuation, there is the evacuation route on the door. We will exit the building and muster at the rudder of the submarine. In the event of an event that requires us to muster further away from the building, we will be mustering between the base theater and the uniform shop. There are red phones in the hallway that look really cool, but don't pick one up unless there's an emergency that requires you to get in communication with the appropriate help. If you knock one of those off, please pick it up. Let the person there know you're very sorry and that nothing bad has happened. This is going to be a computer-based training with facilitated discussion. You will not need your headphones. Are there any questions before we head into the body of this lesson? No? Outstanding. Is everyone logged in? Yes. Anyone have any trouble being logged in? All right. To get to this training, please go to your recycle drive or recycle bin. Actually, we're going to click on this PC, and we're going to go to the J drive. We're going to go to NIT Week 2 Blended Learning Delivery. We're going to go to Classroom Setup, the TBT Classroom Setup. At the bottom, there's Start Lesson. I'm going to right-click on that and select Open With and go to Internet Explorer because Microsoft Edge is very special and very picky. All right, and everyone please get to this slide here for the classroom setup and wait until we're all there before continuing. You'll have 15 minutes to complete this lesson, this training. I'll put the times up on the board once we begin. Is everyone able to get here? We all good? A little bit of trouble. Outstanding. All right. We have 15 minutes. I will give you time notes at when you have 10 and 5 minutes remaining. Please begin.
I'm doing training.
Awesome. Music is really distracting. Please turn it on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. When you go down and press this little guy here, and click that. Perfect. Thank you. We'll take a look at where that's coming from after this. Be a virus or something. Are you oh, is it? Thank you.
You have 5 minutes remaining. Please turn the music off. Can I get everyone's attention, please? As with the class norms, it is expected that we respect each other and classroom environment. There seems to be some confusion about having music playing or distracting those around you. So I'd ask that you all please refrain from any activities that will be distracting to your fellow students and are not part of this lesson. If you complete your lesson early, please work on your lesson or review some of the other information that has been provided to you. Does anyone have any questions? You have 1 minute remaining. All right. If you have not, the time is up. If you have not completed your lesson, please, you will be able to complete it on the break or after class if you so desire. All right. So, having completed this training, we learned about 3 different styles of communication. What were those 3 styles of communication? And who can tell me in this classroom what one of those styles of communication was? All right, sir, would you know?
There was one way, multi-way, and 2-way.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. That is correct. We learned about the one-way communication where a instructor will teach at you, or in an auditorium where you just are putting out a large amount of information that does not require back and forth. Two-way, which is what we are doing right now, which is a instructor-led and event. And we have multi-way, which is where you have groups that are discussing on their own. Of these three, what do you feel is the most challenging as an instructor to manage? All right. FT1, can you give me, do you have a weigh in on this?
Probably like the multi-source.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good. No, that is a good answer. The multi-source is a difficult type of environment to manage. Does anyone have a reason of why that would be? Sir, can you weigh in on this? What do you believe would be challenging about multi-source communications?
Maybe because things are coming from different directions.
Excellent. Does anyone else have any additional information they'd like to weigh in on that? Absolutely correct. When you have multiple sidebars going on, which is effectively what multi-communication is, it can be very challenging to keep track of who's talking about what and if they're staying on topic. We also were discussing and we're learning about the different styles of classroom setup you have. What were some of those styles that we talked about? You're doing. SDS2, can you name one of those styles?
I think like the kind of like from here with the desks and the chairs.
Absolutely. What would the name for that? Does anyone here remember what that name would be called? That would be rows and columns. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. Of these multiple types of layouts, what do you think some of the consequences of a poorly designed layout would be? A hint, an example of that would be my story at the beginning about where I was sitting. Anyone want to know? 82.
Yes.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Okay. Out of what would be some examples you feel of a poorly designed classroom?
I mean, you kind of hit it on the spot earlier. Poorly designed classroom, I kind of think that it would, I don't know, kind of like maybe be distracting, maybe prevent someone from really getting the lessons down properly, might not learn as much.
Very true. If you have a classroom that is either poorly designed or not an ideal design for what you're doing, they will conflict and you will have not an ideal communication. Imagine trying to hold a group discussion in an auditorium where you're basically shouting at everyone because they all have to talk, and it's not set up for that kind of a discussion. In this example, so this would be an example of a free-form learning environment. This would be part of the activity that we're not conducting. So in this situation, these students have decided that the best way to learn about putting out a fire would be to see if placing a large amount of fire extinguishers on top of the fire would eventually cause them to detonate and put the fire out itself. The self-putting out fire. Revolutionary. What do you see would be some of the concerns? What do you think would be some of the concerns with a setup such as this? Team 2 Crafted. Do you have any thoughts?
At least if they're huddled up, they can stay warm.
Okay. This is a valid point. However, that is a not ideal situation. There is a lot of dangers and risks involved with this particular kind of a setup. Anyone else have thought they'd like to weigh in on this? MC1 Savoy.
Maybe the fire could be accidentally spread by the fire extinguisher duties.
Potentially. Could you like to expound upon that?
Gonna push, I think, some shrapnel out towards the students.
Absolutely correct. It is another very concerning from a safety standpoint of this type of a setup and what could be detrimental to the student safety. Let's go to another example. All right, so here is a mixed classroom where we have students with computers and we have a row of whiteboards so that the instructor can enjoy his privacy, as he seems to be very afraid of his students. How do you feel that this kind of a classroom setup can be detrimental to the learning of the students? Professor Duke, any thoughts?
Well, there's no supervision, so you get a little rowdy in there.
Excellent, very true. The students can kind of run wild on their side of the classroom while the instructor enjoys his private time. There also is very little interaction, so there's no way for these students to get to help they need unless they go around out of the classroom and then back in on the instructor's side to talk to them. And then STS2 Krill, do you have any additional thoughts on ways that how do you feel that this classroom setup could be improved?
Maybe just put it back to like normal setup.
Fair point. Just setting it up as a standard classroom and aligning it so that you have a standard teacher in front and corrected rows. Does anyone have any questions about what we just learned about today before I head into the summary and review of this lesson? All right. So, today we talked about classroom setup. We talked about the different styles of setups that there are. We talked about the different styles of communication and different assets that are available in the classroom and how to effectively use them. Get to the summary real quick. That is not the relevant information I was looking for. So, we learned about classroom setups and how they can be used, examining classroom setups to maximize learning, and which, again, we were learning about the different styles of classroom setups and how they can be effectively used. And we stated the types of classroom setups to maximize learning. We were discussing ideal situations and how they can be improved for the students to maximize learning. All right. What were the types of communication styles we talked about? Sir?
One-way, two-way, and multi-way.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Those are the three that we discussed. what were some of the styles, classroom layouts that we learned about in the lesson? Yes, AT2.
One way is the shapes setup. You also have a more of a column and rows setup.
AT2. Thank you very much. I believe that the question may have been misstated. What were some of the design styles? So you were correct in saying that column and rows. However, the one way is not one of the styles. That was one of the communication types. Does that make sense?
Understood.
Thank you. But you were correct with the other listings of styles. That was just initially the one way is a communication style and not a setup of the classroom. All right. Did you want to continue? Did you have other ones?
Yes. So you also have the theater setup. You can also use more of a laboratory kind of environment, and you also have more of a freeform kind of setup.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. Wow, 3. You get 3 cookies. You're welcome. Those are all the styles of classrooms that we were discussing. As always, we need to follow our class norms and respect each other. They're posted in the back if you've lapsed on them and would like to review them. Again, safety is paramount here at the training facility. In the event of a fire or other emergency that require us to exit the building, we will follow the evacuation route posted by the door, and we will muster by the rudder of the perfectly parked submarine. Gary wanted to challenge that. And then, in the event that we are required to muster further away due to, say, an active shooter, if we are able to, in the event of an active shooter, we will utilize the run, hide, fight method. We will run to the muster point, which is between the base theater and the uniform shop. In the event that the active shooter prevents us from doing so, we will hide and, if necessary, fight. Does anyone have any questions before I conclude today's lesson? Thank you.
All right, give it up.